And in the afternoon, after lunch, boy, you'd learn to eat a light lunch, because if you ate a heavy lunch, you get so drowsy in the afternoon, and it was hard to stay sharp. And I don't know if you remember the day we were shooting a scene. I don't know if we ever talked about this. We were shooting a scene where Bill and I are in a room. A couple of guys walk in, bad guys, and we have a fight with them. And it's bam, 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 and I pinch a guy, and he hits a guy, and the guys are down on the floor. And then, after they hit the floor, we have some more dialogue for about 30 or 40 seconds. What are we going to do about this? Well, Captain, I think I have an idea. Is it logical if we do that? So, yes, Spock, I think I'll go this way, and you go that way, and we go out the door, and the scene is going to be over. So we rehearse it, and we do the dialogue. The guys come in. We have this big fight. I pinch this guy. Bill hits that guy. Then he hits this guy, and then he hits that guy. And he hits both guys. He hits all the guys. And the two stunt men drop to the floor like they're supposed to. The camera's rolling now. They drop to the floor like they're supposed to. And we start our dialogue. Right in the middle of the dialogue, I say, Captain, I think we better go here. He says, Spock, you go that way. I say, logical, Captain. And I heard...
The stuntman.
And we're trying not to break up.
Stuntman's lying under the table. He has to...
Fell asleep.
He has to lie still for 3 minutes. He fell asleep during our scene. He started snoring.
We both heard it. We both knew exactly what it was. And by the look in his eye, I knew that he knew what it was.
And by the twitch in his ear, I knew that he knew what it was.
But we're both trying very hard to get the scene done without breaking up, see? So you can imagine.
And we left in our separate ways, fell out of the door, and started hysterically laughing, which woke the stuntman up, and he was in a foul humor from then on. It was really funny. I don't know, somebody hands you something and walks away quickly, that's very suspicious. And when it ticks as well, I mean, besides which I haven't got my glasses on, so I can only see...
I'm not going to tell you what it says.
Okay. They're probably trying to convert us to something or other.
What do you tell people, when people ask me a lot, I'm sure they ask you, what do you tell people when they ask you, what's your favorite episode? Anybody here want to know the answer to that question?
Well, you can imagine that after 25 years, you're welcome. You paid your $18 as well, I mean, what the heck.
But they're very polite. No, they're very polite.
Right, but I suddenly realized that I had my back to them. And
they're very polite. These over here, I don't know about, but they're very polite. Wait a minute.
After 25 years, you can imagine that that was very observant of you.
They couldn't see you.
See, I told you he's a thinking, feeling.
No. I got mental telepathy.
Oh, you got your glasses on. After 25... I'll start this again, Mr. Laugh. After 25 years, you can imagine the number of times we've been asked a number of questions. One of the big questions I keep getting asked is, has anybody asked you a question I haven't asked you? What question haven't I asked you? You know, like But in any case, the favorite episode question is one of the big questions. So I've developed a stock answer. So I'm going to give you the stock answer, and then I'll give you an answer that I have never told anybody. Well, it's the 25th anniversary, and I figure it's time. The stock answer is, I can't remember the episode, it's been so long. It's those episodes in which I played double roles. The most difficult episodes, difficult things to do, to act to yourself and not know what's going on. And then, of course, the fact that these segments were shot so quickly, you hardly ever got to see the script. So one day I walked in, and there I was required to play a girl in my body. How do you do that? What emotional memory do you call on for that? And you have to jump into these things that's my standard answer. But let me tell you what my real answer is that I haven't spoken to Leonard about. If ever, it's been a long, long time that he's long since forgotten the conversations, but not the episode. And everything I say will come clear. In the first year, we were doing an episode and working very hard. All of us had gotten to know each other, feeling our way through our relationships, both personally and professionally. And my father died in the first year of that. Now that's many years ago, and my memory of my beloved father now is one of joy and purity, and I remember him wonderfully. And the grief has long since gone, and just the joy of having known him, having loved him, and him having loved me remains. That's what happens to those of you too young to know what real grief is yet. But at that moment in time, the pain was awful. My beloved father had died across the country, and I was going to have to fly. It had happened in the morning. I was going to have to fly there in the afternoon, and I had several hours in which I had nothing to do but wait for an airplane. And it was getting close to lunch, and they said, let's break for lunch and everybody go home. We'll not shoot today. Bill is leaving. And I said to the stage manager, to the production manager, please don't. The plane doesn't leave until 5 or 6 in the evening. I don't know what I'll do with myself for these remaining hours. Please let's continue to shoot. And so at the end of lunch, after the tears and the anguish, we started again on the scene that we had been rehearsing all morning. And I couldn't remember a line. The emotion had made me forget. And all that I remember in 25 years to this day is the closeness that Leonard had towards me, not only emotionally, but in actually, like I've seen film on elephants that support the sick and the dying with their bodies. Leonard was close to me. And the cinematographer, Jerry Finneman's father, who had been a cinematographer, had also died on the set some years before. Between Jerry Finneman and Leonard Nimoy, that afternoon was able to pass, and I went to fly to my father, warmed by their love and affection. That was my favorite episode. I've never said that.
I remember it very well. I remember the day very, very, very clearly. As a matter of fact, I remember what episode it was. It was the episode we were shooting was Devil in the Dark. With the Horta. Remember the Horta?
That's interesting.
It was a very touching experience, but Bill has a very dangerous sense of humor. And I remember very, very much that we kind of herded around him to let him feel that there was somebody close by, if he wanted to talk or whatever he wanted to do. We actually intruded on his space is what we did. But I remember it very well. And then I remember that when he flew away, you probably don't remember this, when he flew away to go to the services for his dad, we then went ahead and shot the one scene where Spock gets in touch with the Horta's mind. And the Horta is this creature which is the mother of the eggs that are being destroyed. I'm sure you've seen it and recall the episode. The Horta was in great pain. Horta was in great pain, which we discover because Spock mind melds with it. And as Spock gets in touch with this thing, he starts to experience the pain that the Horta is experiencing. And I think I'd said something like, pain, it went something like that. And we shot that, and Bill was not there to see it. When he came back 2 days later, as I recall, I think it was about 2 days went by,